Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously China is in the news for everything it seems, and now the new one, which has been happening for a couple of months, but it's kind of hitting a peak now, is their energy crisis, which has forced them to start rationing power. I sent this out to the members a day ago, but more news started rolling out today. And I mean, they are literally just shutting down plants over here just to give energy over here, and now it's affecting homes. And of course you got winter coming and everything else, and here we are on the supply crunch to begin with. If you didn't watch my video about supply chains and the issues in the ports and everything else, I'll link it at the end. And so this is like the worst timing for this to happen. And so as I told in the video yesterday and told the members, I mean, you got Apple and Tesla, they're having problems with their suppliers over there, and if it's happening to them, it's happening to many companies. And I'm going to show you why this is a big problem, and it's coming at the worst time, what's causing it, and why I actually think it will get fixed sooner rather than later, okay? And so obviously hit the like and subscribe button if you get anything out of this. That's all I ask from you. And let's go ahead and get into why this is something you need to pay attention to. And so this is the headline coming out of China today. Power shortages in China hit homes and factories, prompting global supply fears. Factories were closed to avoid exceeding limits on energy use imposed by Beijing to promote energy efficiency. That's wonderful. And the reason why this is a big deal, because you can see right here, top 10 countries by share of global manufacturing. This is as of 2019. See how much China manufactures? I mean, that is amazing. You can take like the United States, Japan, and Germany, and it's about equal to China, okay? And you can see the rest of the countries don't manufacture a whole lot at all. And so that's one reason this is a very big deal. And if you look over here, and if that one didn't drive the point home, you look at this right here. It's the map of the world's manufacturing output. You can see China, massive at 4 trillion, US 2.3, and kind of everybody else, is just producing pennies, right? And so, they're the cog in the wheel that makes everything go on when it comes to global manufacturing. And so as you can see, China is the machine that makes everything go, unfortunately. We imported around 435 billion in 2020 from China last year. Europe's even more dependent. They imported around 450 billion from China last year. And so that's why this is a big deal. When they start having issues, it affects everybody, even though you might not feel it right now. You will in the next few months for sure. And of course the big scare is Christmas, right? There's a great game you can play. Go in your house. Look at the toys, the clothing, the furniture. See if you can find something that doesn't have a China tag on it. That's kind of the game you want to play. I bet you find a high percentage of things from China. So play it. Let me know in the comments what you find and everything. And so what's causing this? And this is kind of the surprise, really, because you don't think about it. Because when you hear about China and energy, all you hear about is how they're leading alternative energy and EV, and they're really switching over to wind and solar and all that stuff. Well, you know what it is? Coal. That's right, coal now. Hadn't heard that one in a while. That's making a huge comeback. And why is that? Because China is the #1 country by a mile when it comes to the consumption of coal. As you can see right here, I mean, you can add up all the rest of the countries on this chart, and it don't even equal to how much consumption of coal China actually uses. And this is a big problem because coal mining production only climbed 6% compared to 2020, and the result is that you have a severe depletion of coal inventories, which is to contribute to low stocks at many power plants. And because of this shortage, look at the price of coal. I mean, in 2021, it's going straight up, right? And we hadn't seen these prices since 2008. And so who knows how far it's going to go. And that becomes a problem because here on this chart you can see this is China's coal demand, right? And it's basically at an all-time high at this point in time, and it's just continued to climb. And of course, one of the biggest concerns of this, because the coal prices keep going up, some countries can't even really afford it. And second of all, they're going to have to try to compete with China to get it. And of course, China will spend as much money as they want to spend, right? There's nobody can outspend China. And so that becomes a problem. So this is actually at this point in time spreading globally as far as people who need to have coal to power, obviously their cities and stuff. And they're going to have a problem getting that because China is basically going to outbid them, even though 90% of their coal comes from the coal they mine in their own country. As you can see, they're already know they're going to have to go outside of the place. And you even got, I read today, Europe is trying to, sneak in and get some of the supplies from other countries that China also buys from, because obviously in Europe right now there's a gas shortage because obviously they don't have enough truckers to ship everything around. But But the problem with what's going on with these shortages here, obviously, if there's a coal shortage, that leads to, let's say, a fertilizer shortage, right? It's like a chain reaction. And so if that's affecting fertilizers, what that does is that affects the food market, right? Not only growing it, but also shipping it in different places, right? I mean, over in Europe, what are they having a problem with? Dry ice, a shortage of dry ice. So they can't ship certain types of meats and things like that across the country, because they'll be bad by the time they get there because there's a shortage of dry ice. And so that's the other problem, is when you have problems with one thing, it tends to lead to another, to another, to another, and create this chain reaction. And so, and plus these prices, I mean, natural gas is going through the roof too, if you hadn't seen that. And so it's kind of things you wouldn't think about. I mean, I never thought coal would be creating a problem like this. But, you know, that's the reality. That's the reality of it. And, you know, I read a great article saying the United States has to be careful because our power grid is behind the times anyway, as you saw in Texas, right? And so, you know, we're trying to make this big switch over, but by making this big switch, is there going to be a big gap, right? Which is going to create power shortages here. And so I hope our government, who tends to screw everything up they touch, takes a good look at what's happening in China and says, oh, okay, well, if they're the leading alternative energy type country and they're having this problem and still this dependent on coal, maybe we don't need to be cutting, you know, oil production or coal production just yet, to make sure until we get started on the clean energy grid or have enough of it, all right? And so, you know, but going back to supply chains, obviously this is a big thing when you got warehouses and manufacturing facilities shutting down, you know, creating unsafe work environments, things like that as well. And so, you know, we're going to see how this plays out. The one reason I really think it's going to get fixed, though, and I don't think it's actually going to take as long as people think, is because of the Communist Party, right? They've already said, they've told these coal mines they better start increasing production. What does that mean? Okay, you're talking about a government who 17 days ago, I think it was, gave an executive life in prison for embezzling like $17 million. A couple of days, I think it was 6 days ago, they put a guy in jail for 18 years for embezzling $150,000. Now, you know, keep that in mind. In the United States, we have murderers, rapists, and pedophiles that don't get sentences like that, okay? And so, you know, I'm pretty sure when they made that phone call, those executives who are over those coal mines, they're probably taking their suits and ties off and they're climbing down into those coal mines themselves, because that's a better alternative than where, you know, the Communist Party will send them to re-educate them if they don't get the job done. And so we'll see how that plays out. We'll also see how it affects other countries who need to try to obviously buy coal and stuff with these prices. And so we'll see. You know, I think part of it's obviously fact, part of it may be FUD, right? You know, exaggerated, but we'll see. You know, I mean, I've seen the pictures. I even saw a video yesterday that was getting translated with subtitles of them telling the workers in the warehouse, we're going to have to, you know, there's going to be power outages, it's going to affect your salary. And so this is why Goldman Sachs came out and downgraded the growth for China and basically saying third quarter will be 0% growth at this point in time, which wouldn't surprise me a bit. You know, and so don't forget, then you got Vietnam. Anytime there's a positive, like one positive case in the port or whatever, they just shut the whole thing down. And so, you know, it's a hot mess right now when it comes to these supply chains. And so, and it's just something that's not going to get fixed anytime soon. It's just not. And of course, then that also really worries people when it comes to inflation, higher prices, right? Staying there for a long time. And so, anyway, just want to bring it to you. I think it's something, to me, it's something everybody needs to know. If you're wondering, like I said, go to the grocery store. Let me know in the comments. Are you paying more? Are you paying less when you go to gas pumps? Are you paying more or paying less? Okay, let me know that. Let us know down in the comments. And so, you know, and the biggest worry is winter's coming, right? Winter's coming. And when do you need power more than anything? Summer, winter, okay? And so it gets pretty cold in China and in Europe and stuff like that. And so, yeah, got to have that. But now, you know, it was just affecting factories. Now it's affecting households. And so we'll see. Anyway, if you live in China and you're watching this, let us know in the comments how's it going, okay? So I hope you have a good one. And don't forget, hit that link down the bottom, guys. You can sign up for a BlockFi account or their credit card. And what's great is they've upped the interest rate to 8%. I just got word from a little birdie that they're going to up interest rates on stablecoins to 8.25% coming October 1st. And so that will be nice to see. You can also apply for that credit card I told you about and earn Bitcoin on every purchase you make. And also sign up or apply for loans at a very, very reasonable interest rate as well.